Hello, I'm Dr. Paul Cleveland with Boundary Stone, and today I would like to raise a question. I think people fear monopolies. And so that raises the question, well, what is a monopoly, and should we be afraid of it? And then second, should government regulation is that the government regulation the best means of regulating monopolies and regulating prices in the marketplace? Well, for this last question, I say no, not at all. As a matter of fact, a lot of times when governments create all sorts of regulations, it's the government regulations that are creating the monopolies in the first place. Now think of it for a moment. Anytime the government imposes regulations on businesses, it creates a fixed cost that the producers must overcome in order to sell their products in the market. Therefore, small scale, what happens is smaller producers tend to be forced out of the market because they're not able to overcome this fixed cost that's been imposed by government rules and regulations. Moreover, price fixing by government is not the solution at all either. And think about the way a market functions. In a market, we voluntarily interact with one another, and so as a result of our interaction with one another as buyers and sellers, it results in going prices being set. Now, if a firm is very profitable as a result of that, without governmental rules or regulations that interfere, then other companies would have an interest in entering that market and doing something similar, the same thing, and producing in that particular way. And so that kind of competition, if it allowed to work, market competition, tends to restrict sellers across the board. And even if sellers band together to set price amongst themselves, it tends to break down over time because, once again, let's say they're effective in doing so for a brief period of time. Well, in an open market where people are free to enter or exit and there are no governmental rules in place, then other firms can well enter, or firms that are part of the agreement can just cheat and not participate in whatever the collective agreement happened to be. So in effect then, it's market competition that is our best hope of having prices that continually go down. Moreover, it's that same competition among sellers of things that tends to drive up the quality of products, even as it's driving down the price of products. Think about sporting examples for a moment in competition. Many years ago, when Tiger Woods hit the golf scene, he took it by storm. No one had seen a golfer able to hit a golf ball as far as he could, and so he was winning tournament after tournament, and it appeared that, oh well, we might as well all give up. But that's not really what happened. All that did is it set the fires of competition in and amongst a lot of younger players who wanted to emulate Tiger Woods. And in time, golfer after golfer developed techniques and golf habits that allowed them to hit the ball just as far, sometimes straighter than Tiger Woods ever hit it. And so the whole game was elevated as a result of that kind of competitive process. Well, the same is true in the marketplace. And if you think about it for a moment, at the end of the day, how do we define an industry? The auto industry. Well, okay, but there are a lot of different automobiles, different features, different qualities. Some cost more, some less, depending upon the options embedded in the automobile. Well, those are all competitive efforts going on, and so people have lots of different choices. And so, even if I think about the automobile, is that the only means of transportation available to people? And at the end of the day, really, isn't it true that all producers of all goods are trying to compete with one another to get you to choose to buy their product rather than anything else they could have had? So think about that for a moment. Market competition is a very valuable thing, but when governments enter the fray and begin to regulate everything that's out there, what happens is they thwart the competitive process that gives rise to increasing quality of goods and services and decreasing prices. Well, I hope this is helpful in your understanding of things. Once again, Dr. Paul Cleveland with Boundary Stone. We're just trying to provide you with resources to understand economic principles, to understand the world in which you live, and so you can go out and make a difference. Anyway, check out our website, boundarystone.org, and I'll talk to you next time.